Circuit Court is now in session with the Honorable Brian K. Kirkham presiding, calling case 2022-2134 DM Aaron Gentry versus Peter Gentry. Today is Monday, December 23rd, 2024 at 9:36 a.m.
Court will note the appearance of Ms. McNiff on behalf of the plaintiff, Ms. Thomas on behalf of the defendant. This matter is before the court on the defendant's motion to require plaintiff to comply with the judgment of divorce. Obviously, I've read the pleadings in this matter, Ms. Thomas. You don't have to reiterate those. Do you have anything in response to Ms. McNiff's answer?
Well, there's a lot of things to respond to because there was a lot of inaccuracies in there.
Well, let's respond to the salient points. There was a lot of ancillary and I believe superfluous stuff included, and I don't need you to respond to that.
Okay. All right. So the issue is, of course, whether or not and when Ms. Gentry, Ms. Tinsman has to respond or has to remove his name from the allegation. The concern is that now we've learned that her intent is to not do so for another 18 months. The problem, or to even list the house for sale for another 18 months, which would even be beyond that. But the problem of it is that it's affecting Mr. Gentry's credit. It's affecting his ability to do other things at his house and ownership of his house. And so it was supposed to be to hold him harmless. And in the response, there's several things that aren't true, including, who had the affair. I mean, there's all kinds of things. But again, as you indicated, they're ancillary things. The bottom line of it is this case was one where Ms. Tinsman's attorney drew up the document. Mr. Gentry was not represented. It was after he had met with both of the parties, and they both were of the understanding at that point that she was going to refinance and get this taken care of right away. It's now more than 2 years later, and nothing's been done. And it seems that Ms. Tinsman is of the belief that she can do this if and when she wants to, and it is affecting his credit. It is affecting, there's all kinds of excuses, but every excuse is one that frankly is under Ms. Tinsman's control. We just are asking for a date by when it needs to be done, because one wasn't put in the initial judgment of divorce that was prepared by Ms. Tinsman's attorney. And then again, the amount of things in the response were a little flabbergasting for us, quite frankly, but there are 5 missed payments according to the document from the credit union. And so we're just simply asking that there be a timeline put on this matter.
Okay, thank you. Ms. McNiff, you talk about all sorts of things in the response. What's the date that she'll have this refinanced by?
Your Honor, as we responded in detail, the problem she's going to have is that the financing companies want her to have 2 years of either W-2 or 1099 wages. And she simply doesn't have that. And so she won't be able to refinance until then. She certainly wants to sell the house sooner than 18 months. But we need a resolution of the parenting time issue. I have to file a motion, I think, to resolve that and to get that to a hearing.
Okay,
but
that's not before mid-days.
No, I'm just, and I understand that. She has an intent to sell.
Give me a date.
I don't have a date, Your Honor. I don't. But the big thing here, Judge, is a judgment of divorce for the property provisions is really a contract. And it's not for the court to reform the party's contract. It should have been on Mr. Gentry to ask for a date when he wanted his name off of that property. And without that being in the judgment, there is no date. I think that Mrs. Tinsman will do it, but the judgment speaks for itself.
Okay. Well, in this matter, it's been approximately the judgment was back in on February 13th, 2023. So we're going on close to a year. Obviously, that's sufficient time to get the matter resolved, and the court's not going to wait indefinitely for the plaintiff to qualify or whatever. And because we can't be given a date, the court is going to order that the house be sold, listed for sale forthwith, and be sold. If something happens in the meantime, she's able to refinance, the court would would consider that, but at this point, if there's no date, that she's gonna have to list it for sale and have it sold forthwith and provide Ms. Thomas with the listing agreement. I will require that that be done within 14 days of today's date.
Judge, could she have a little bit more time just
Nope.
due to the holidays? It's going to be
She's had
difficult.
sufficient time. She can do it within 14 days. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank
You got it.
you.
You can submit that, Ms. Thomas, under a 7-day.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day and a good holiday.
Thank you.
Thanks, you too.